And there will be more. There will be more. You know what I'm saying? This Kill the King project is it's gonna be heavy-handed. You know what I'm saying? Cause it's the last of them. So I'm gonna get it all out. You feel me? I'm gonna get it all out. I'm gonna lay it all out there.
Katt Williams, the undisputed Grim Reaper of Hollywood secrets, has just returned with a revelation so explosive, it threatens to permanently erase T.I.'s legacy from the history books. We're talking about the ultimate hip-hop sin. For months, the world has been waiting for T.I.'s highly anticipated final retirement album, Kill the King. It was promised to be a lyrical masterpiece that would cement his legendary status forever. But Katt Williams just ripped the curtain back on live camera, exposing a dark, desperate secret that T.I. has been hiding from his fans, his peers, and the entire world. T.I. is not writing his own final rhymes. He has secretly hired a ghostwriter to save his collapsing reputation. The internet is in absolute freefall, industry heavyweights are panicking, and the King of the South is currently facing the most humiliating, career-ending scandal of his entire life. You will not believe who the ghostwriter is, and once you hear the leaked evidence, you will never look at T.I. the same way again. The crown hasn't just slipped, it has been stolen. To truly understand the magnitude of the earthquake Katt Williams just triggered, you have to realize exactly what is at stake here. For over 2 decades, Clifford T.I. Harris has demanded absolute, unquestioned respect. He built a massive empire on one singular narrative. He is the untouchable, undeniable King of the South. He fought for that title, he bled for it, and he has spent years aggressively defending his elite pen game against anyone who dared to challenge his intellect. His upcoming double album, Kill the King, wasn't just another music release. It was meticulously marketed as his final, ultimate magnum opus. This was supposed to be his victory lap, a lyrical masterclass to silence his enemies and let him ride off into the sunset as an undefeated hip-hop deity. But behind closed doors, the walls of the Harris estate have been violently caving in. If you have been paying attention to the timeline, you know that T.I. has been drowning in absolute public relations nightmares. He has been battered by a relentless, humiliating social media war waged by 50 Cent. He's had to watch his own sons, King Harris and Domani, drag the family name into messy, public feuds that stripped away his authoritative image. Add in the resurrected, deeply toxic beefs with former allies like Boozy Badass, and you realize T.I.'s public image is currently hanging by a very thin thread. The pressure to deliver a flawless, world-stopping final album wasn't just about making good music anymore. It was about absolute survival. He was backed into a corner. He needed a miracle. He needed the greatest, most aggressive verses of his entire life to force the culture to respect him one last time. When a king's back is against the wall, desperation makes him do unthinkable things. Industry whispers suggest T.I. knew his current pen game wasn't sharp enough to combat the wave of modern disrespect. He couldn't risk dropping a mediocre project. So, to protect his fragile ego, he allegedly crossed the one line a true lyricist must never, ever cross. He decided to buy a new legacy. He thought he could quietly manufacture a flawless comeback, completely under the radar. But he forgot about the one man in Hollywood who thrives in the dark. Enter Katt Williams. If there is one thing the entire world learned from Katt's legendary, internet-breaking teardown of the industry back in 2024, it is that Katt Williams does not care about your crown, your legacy, or your feelings. He is the self-appointed executioner of fake Hollywood narratives. Katt has a deeply documented history of watching the mighty build their arrogant houses of cards, waiting for the absolute perfect moment, and then violently pulling out the bottom piece, just to watch it all collapse. Until now, he had largely left the rap titans out of his crosshairs. But that unspoken truce evaporated into thin air this week. Why T.I.? Why now? Sources deep inside the industry claim that Katt Williams caught wind of T.I.'s secret ghostwriting camp months ago. Katt, who despises the manufactured illusions of fame, reportedly saw T.I.'s grand Kill the King rollout as the ultimate, unforgivable hypocrisy. How can a man demand the throne when he isn't even forging his own sword? This wasn't just a random comedy club call-out. This was a calculated, premeditated assassination of character, designed to strike exactly when T.I. had the most to lose. The king thought he was preparing for a glorious coronation, completely unaware that Katt Williams was already standing on the balcony, holding the receipts that would burn his entire kingdom to ashes. The devastating blow landed on a random Tuesday night, catching the entire entertainment world completely off guard. Katt Williams was headlining a sold-out, untelevised stand-up show at the Fox Theater, right in the heart of Atlanta, T.I.'s own backyard. The choice of venue was intentional, calculated, and breathtakingly bold. It was a direct invasion of territory. Midway through a blistering set where he was already tearing into the hypocrisy of modern Hollywood elites, the stage lights suddenly dimmed to a deep, ominous hue. The chaotic, laughing energy in the room shifted instantly into a dead, nervous silence. The audience knew that drop in temperature meant Katt was about to pivot into dangerous territory. Katt paced the stage slowly, wearing a razor-sharp smirk that sent literal chills through the front rows. He stopped dead center, grabbed the microphone stand with both hands, and leaned heavily into it. "Y'all keep bowing down to these artificial kings," Katt sneered, his voice dropping into a low, mocking rhythm that resonated through the theater's sound system. "You got a man out here parading around town, screaming about kill the king for his retirement. But tell me, Atlanta, how you gonna kill a king who's already been replaced by a damn puppet?" The crowd gasped loudly, a collective wave of shock rippling through the thousands in attendance. Everyone knew exactly who he was talking about. But Katt wasn't there to just throw subtle shade or playful jabs. He was there to execute a legacy. "Tip," Katt said, turning his head to look directly into a fan's glowing phone camera in the VIP section, fully aware that the footage would hit the internet within seconds. "You really thought you could sneak an entire ghostwriting camp into a private studio in Calabasas and the universe wouldn't find out? You really thought you could just buy a brand new legacy for $50,000 a track and slide into retirement clean?" The Fox Theater erupted into absolute pandemonium. People were standing on their chairs, screaming, and looking around in disbelief. But Katt Williams raised a single, commanding hand, demanding absolute silence from the crowd, and delivered the ultimate kill shot. He reached into his leather trench coat and pulled out his personal phone. "I don't just talk, Atlanta. Unlike these industry plants, I actually brought the audio receipts." Katt held the phone's speaker directly up to his microphone. A heavy, pounding trap beat blared through the massive stadium speakers. The bass line was heavy, and the melody was undeniably the exact lead single that T.I. had been teasing on his Instagram snippets for weeks. But the voice rapping the complex, multisyllabic, incredibly aggressive flow wasn't T.I. at all. It was a much younger, hungrier voice, spitting the exact same bars, breath for breath, cadence for cadence, that T.I. had previewed as his own unmatched genius comeback lyricism. That voice, Katt laughed hysterically into the mic as the audio abruptly cut off, leaving the room stunned, belongs to a 22-year-old kid from Chicago who signs NDAs for a living because your favorite Southern king can't string two complex sentences together anymore without having a panic attack about his relevance. The crowd footage hit X, TikTok, and Instagram simultaneously. Within 30 minutes, the hashtag #KattExposesTI was the #1 trending topic worldwide. Hip-hop purists were hyperventilating online, and fans were in absolute denial. A ghostwriter is the ultimate taboo in rap, but for a lyricist like T.I., who built his entire 20-year brand on his extensive vocabulary and street intellect, it was an absolute death sentence. The betrayal felt deeply personal to millions of fans who had defended him through federal court cases and reality TV drama. But just as the internet was digesting the sheer humiliation of the leaked reference track, a massive, mind-bending twist dropped like a nuclear bomb onto the timeline. An anonymous industry insider on Reddit, verified by major hip-hop blogs within hours, leaked the actual legal identity and past catalog of the 22-year-old ghostwriter from the Calabasas sessions. It wasn't just some random, unknown struggling artist desperate for a paycheck. The kid secretly writing T.I.'s final, legacy-defining album was a former standout protege of none other than Boozy Badass. Yes, The exact same boozy badass that T.I. had a massive, highly publicized, and incredibly bitter fallout with over paperwork and snitching allegations just a year prior. The very man T.I. had publicly distanced himself from was now indirectly authoring T.I.'s final words. T.I. was secretly funding the camp of his sworn enemy just to get a hit record and save his face. The irony was suffocating. T.I. wasn't just faking his pen. He was literally paying the people associated with his bitterest rivals to make him sound tough enough for the streets. The humiliation was absolute, the twist was devastating, and the war had only just begun. The fallout from the boozy-adjacent Ghostwriter revelation was instantaneous, violent, and absolute. It was no longer just a trending rumor or a brief internet debate. It had rapidly mutated into a full-blown industry crisis that threatened to swallow T.I.'s entire legacy whole. By the next morning, every major hip-hop platform, morning radio show, and celebrity gossip blog had completely ripped up their pre-planned broadcasting schedules to cover the unfolding disaster. The King of the South's castle was actively burning down in front of a live global audience, and instead of throwing water, the biggest names in the culture started pouring high-octane gasoline directly onto the flames. The first to strike, with absolutely zero hesitation or mercy, was 50 Cent. You knew he was coming. 50 Cent, who had already spent the better part of a year terrorizing the Harris family on social media, did not let this golden opportunity slip through his fingers. Within hours of the Fox Theater leak, 50 Cent posted a violently photoshopped image on his Instagram feed showing T.I. sitting at a tiny elementary school desk, holding a giant wooden pencil while a younger, faceless rapper guided his hand from behind. The caption was pure psychological warfare. Damn tip. Man facepalming medium dark skin tone, I told you he was finished. You really out here hiring boozy's leftovers to write your goodbye letters to the streets? This is nasty work, man. I'll write your final eulogy for free. Grinning squinting face, hashtag kill the king or hire the king. The post garnered over 2 million likes in under 3 hours, effectively turning the tragic downfall of a legend into a global meme. 50 Cent didn't stop there. He followed it up with a video of himself laughing hysterically in a dark room while playing Katt Williams' leaked reference track on a continuous, mocking loop. Behind the heavily fortified walls of the Harris estate, sources reported absolute, unmitigated panic. T.I.'s high-priced public relations team scrambled behind the scenes, allegedly sending emergency, aggressive cease and desist letters to every major blog hosting the leaked audio file. But as anyone in digital media knows, the internet never deletes. The harder T.I.'s team tried to scrub the audio from the web, the faster the Streisand effect took full control. Fans began downloading the clip, mirroring it across thousands of burner accounts, and deeply analyzing every snippet, every freestyle, and every single interview T.I. had done over the last 2 years. They were looking for cracks in the armor, and they found them. The narrative shifted with terrifying speed from "did he really do it?" to an even more damaging question: how many of our favorite classics were actually written by somebody else? T.I. desperately needed to issue a controlled, calculated statement to save his reputation. But before his PR team could even draft a single line of defense, the unthinkable happened. The most fatal, destructive blow to T.I.'s career didn't come from Katt Williams, and it didn't come from 50 Cent. It came from inside his own house. King Harris, T.I.'s notoriously outspoken, unpredictable, and highly emotional son, abruptly jumped on Instagram Live from a moving vehicle. Driven by pure anger and a wildly misguided attempt to defend his father's honor, King started screaming directly at the thousands of viewers who flooded the stream. "Y'all don't know nothing about how the real music business works," King yelled into his phone camera, waving his hands frantically as his eyes widened with rage. "Everybody in Hollywood gets help. Drake gets help. Kanye gets help. My pops has been carrying the weight of this entire Southern industry on his back for 20 years. If he wants to pay a young, hungry expletive to bring some new bounce, some new energy into the studio sessions, that ain't ghostwriting. That's called boss moves. That's A&R work. Y'all just broke and mad because my pops is paying these young kids more money for a couple verses than y'all will see in a lifetime." The internet completely froze. The comment section on the live stream, moving at lightning speed, instantly stopped as viewers realized what had just occurred. Did King Harris just accidentally confess to the entire conspiracy? The clip was immediately screen recorded, chopped up, and reposted millions of times across TikTok and X within minutes. King had meant to defend his father, but in his emotional, unchecked execution, he had inadvertently confirmed every single word Katt Williams said on that Atlanta stage. He confirmed the young writer. He confirmed the secret Calabasas studio sessions. He confirmed the heavy financial payments. T.I.'s own flesh and blood had just handed the executioner the absolute sharpest axe. The escalation was now beyond any public relations repair. The hashtag #KingConfesses instantly bypassed the original trend. T.I. was no longer battling a comedian's unverified theater rumor. He was now forced to battle a literal, public confession from his own son. The betrayal, the internal incompetence, and the sheer volume of public humiliation were staggering. The king was bleeding out on the public square, the sharks were circling, and the water was turning deep red. The digital landscape instantly transformed into an absolute, unrecognizable war zone. You couldn't open a single app, X, TikTok, Instagram, or YouTube, without being bombarded by the sheer magnitude of the fallout. The hip-hop community, a culture that usually thrives on intense debate and divided loyalties, experienced a rare moment of collective, paralyzing shock, followed immediately by ruthless, unmerciful mockery. For the fans, the betrayal felt deeply, painfully personal. Die-hard supporters who had literally tattooed T.I.'s lyrics on their bodies were posting viral videos of themselves aggressively scrubbing off the ink or booking emergency laser removal sessions. I defended this man through federal gun charges, through prison stints, through reality TV drama, wept one TikTok creator in a video that amassed 3 million views in 4 hours. But you can't fake the pen. If the pen is fake, the king is fake. The throne is empty. Gen Z creators, who had already been highly critical of T.I.'s elder statesman lectures, weaponized the scandal with terrifying speed. They flooded the internet with deepfake memes of T.I. using a children's speak and spell toy in the recording booth, while his Pharrell-produced lead single, Let 'Em Know, was violently trolled in the comment sections. What was supposed to be the undisputed anthem of his grand farewell King Succession tour had instantly become the punchline of the decade. But the most intense, earth-shattering reactions came directly from the industry heavyweights. The hip-hop media circuit caught absolute fire. DJ Academics hosted a frantic, emergency 9-hour Twitch stream, screaming into his microphone until his voice went hoarse. This is the darkest day in Atlanta hip-hop history. Academics roared, violently slamming his desk. You cannot call yourself the king of the South when a 22-year-old kid is holding the crown. Katt Williams just ended a legendary 20-year run with one grainy audio clip. Meanwhile, Joe Budden took a completely different, yet somehow more devastating tone on his podcast. Staring directly into the camera with absolute, heartbroken disgust, Budden delivered a monologue that felt like a eulogy. This breaks my heart. Tip. You were supposed to be our lyricist. You were supposed to be the guy who didn't need the gimmicks. But to find out that your final victory lap is being run by a ghost, you didn't just ruin Kill the King. You retroactively ruined every classic you ever gave us. How can we trust trap music now? How can we ever listen to Paper Trail the same way? A small, desperate faction of Atlanta loyalists tried to push back against the incoming tide, trending conspiracy theories that Katt Williams had manipulated the audio using advanced AI deepfakes to tear down a powerful legacy. But those defenders were instantly drowned out. Every time a loyalist spoke up, they were forcefully hit with a screen recording of King Harris's disastrous Instagram live, where his own son practically confessed to the help. And then, the final nail was violently hammered into the coffin. Boozy Badass officially broke his silence. Broadcasting live from his poolside, smoking a massive cigar with the most disrespectful, ear-to-ear grin imaginable, Boozy delivered a taunt that will echo through rap history. I told y'all he was a fraud. Boozy laughed, smoke billowing from his mouth. You paid my little homie to write your tough talk? You buying gangster rap on clearance from my camp? Boy, you ain't no king. You a customer. the public consensus locked in with terrifying finality. T.I. was being reduced from hip-hop royalty to a laughingstock in real time. But just when the world thought the king was entirely paralyzed by the humiliation, a dark, unprecedented move from inside the Harris camp proved that this war was about to take its deadliest, most unpredictable turn yet. After 72 hours of agonizing silence and unprecedented public humiliation, the King of the South finally made his move. The official T.I. Instagram account, which had been violently bleeding followers by the tens of thousands every single hour, suddenly went entirely dark. All previous posts, all family photos, and every single piece of promotional material for Kill the King was completely wiped out. Just a blank, terrifyingly black page. The internet held its collective breath. Then, a single, ominous text post appeared on his story. White letters on a pitch-black background. It simply read, "They want a show. I'm giving them a funeral. 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, live. I am bringing the real paperwork. Someone is going to federal prison." The panic instantly shifted. Was T.I. about to sue Katt Williams for defamation? Did he have ironclad proof that the leaked audio was an AI-generated deepfake? The phrasing, "bringing the real paperwork," was a direct, chilling callback to his ruthless street beefs of the past. It signaled that T.I. wasn't just going to deny the allegations. He was preparing to publicly execute whoever orchestrated this leak. By 8:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, a staggering 3 million people were staring at a blank Instagram live countdown on T.I.'s page. It was rapidly on track to become the most-watched live stream in the platform's entire history. Fans, haters, industry executives, and major media outlets were all locked in, waiting for the king to violently reclaim his throne or die trying. But at 8:58 p.m., exactly 2 minutes before T.I. was scheduled to go live and show his so-called paperwork, Katt Williams struck one last, fatal, earth-shattering blow. Katt didn't go live. He didn't record a video. He simply uploaded a single, high-resolution photograph to his X account. It was a picture of a strictly enforced non-disclosure agreement. The legal document was dated just 3 months prior. It explicitly outlined a strict confidentiality agreement between Grand Hustle Records and the 22-year-old Boozy-affiliated Ghostwriter. The contract was for the direct provision of vocal reference tracks and lyrical composition for the project tentatively titled Kill the King. And right there, at the absolute bottom of the page, unblurred and undeniably clear, was Clifford T.I. Harris's legal signature. But that wasn't the twist. The twist that literally stopped the entire world's heartbeat was the second signature on that document. The witness signature. The person who legally signed off on the NDA, verifying the ghostwriting transaction, was someone inside T.I.'s absolute inner circle. Someone he trusted with his life. Someone who had a front row seat to his entire empire. The signature belonged to T.I.'s own wife, Tamika "Tiny" Harris. Before the timeline could even process the horrifying reality that T.I.'s own wife was legally complicit in the ghostwriting cover-up, and more terrifyingly, that someone with direct access to her personal files had to be the one who leaked this explosive document to Katt Williams, T.I.'s Instagram live countdown hit 0. The screen flickered on. T.I. appeared, looking physically exhausted, his eyes bloodshot. He was holding a massive stack of manila folders, completely unaware of the nuclear bomb Katt Williams had just dropped on Twitter 2 minutes prior. He looked dead into the camera lens, took a deep breath, and opened his mouth to speak his ultimate defense. And then, the live stream abruptly cut to black. The connection was instantly terminated. Did T.I. see the tweet right as he went live? Did his legal team violently pull the plug? Or worse, did Tiny cut the feed? The king has been exposed, the castle is locked from the inside, and the greatest hip-hop scandal of the decade has just barely begun. The king of the South has never been this exposed, this vulnerable, or this deeply betrayed. This is no longer just a rap beef. It is a full-blown Shakespearean tragedy unfolding in real time. What do you think really happened when that screen went completely black? Did Tiny leak that NDA to Katt Williams behind T.I.'s back? Or is this the most elaborate setup in hip-hop history? Drop your thoughts in the comments right now. If you want the absolute, unfiltered truth as this scandal unravels, hit that subscribe button and smash the notification bell. You won't want to miss our next update.